Good morning, my friends. It is Wednesday, April 22nd. As you can see, I am still sick in bed, but I did want to come in and give you an update on the situation with Hormuz, as I have been covering this for you for the last few weeks. So just want to give some brief updates while I have the ability. So as of this morning, April 22nd, reports confirming Iran has fired upon 3 commercial vessels and successfully seized 2 of those vessels within the strait. The Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps has reiterated its intent to maintain strict management and control over the waterway. Now, this current cycle of escalation is rooted in conflicting blockade measures. The U.S. has maintained a naval blockade targeting vessels arriving from or deporting for Iranian ports, and in response, Iran had enforced its own closure of the strait, labeling that U.S. blockade an act of war and a violation of that existing ceasefire. Now, on the ceasefire front, Trump recently extending that ceasefire with Iran, but because this extension did not include the lifting of that U.S. naval blockade on Iranian ports, Iran refusing to reopen the strait, leading to renewed seizures and those attacks reported this morning. Many major shipping firms have largely suspended their operations in the area, which has led to a massive decline in transit, with some sources reporting over 150 ships anchored outside of the strait right now to avoid those risks. And that instability in shipping has caused significant volatility also in global oil and gas prices. So multiple international organizations this morning, including the EU, warning of severe long-term economic impacts on consumers and businesses globally, with daily costs of this ongoing crisis estimated in the hundreds of millions of dollars. Now, while there are conflicting reports on these potential next round of peace talks in Islamabad, first J.D. Vance was going, then he wasn't going, then he was going, then he wasn't going, now he might be there, now he might not. Conflicting reports all around coming out of the White House, which is absolutely unreliable in covering this war. But seeing diplomatic efforts by China and other international actors continuing to emphasize the necessity of a de-escalation, while both the U.S. and Iran remain entrenched in their respective maritime positions. Now, the U.S. Central Command has stated its naval enforcement is aimed at essentially sanctioned vehicles that are providing material support to Iran, while asserting that it intends to maintain freedom for commercial traffic, commercial vessels. So the U.S. is claiming that only ships that are there to support Iran's war efforts are getting held back. Iran saying that they're holding back critical deliveries of food, supplies, etc. So again, conflicting reports coming out of both of these entities. Now, the IRGC, that's the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, which I mentioned a moment ago, has issued direct warnings that any vessel approaching the strait will be considered, quote, cooperation with the enemy and subject to targeting. This is what has effectively deterred most commercial shipping vehicles, regardless on port of call, port of entry, fear of that retaliation. And over this weekend, we did see multiple vessels being attacked. Okay, so that is where we are right now with the Hormuz situation. Obviously, I'm doing my best to keep an eye on it from here in my bed, but let me know what questions you have down below, and I will do my best.